Hello crochet and craft community, I'm Cece Newman with a beginner's tutorial on how to make a slip knot. A slip knot is an adjustable loop that is necessary to start every crochet craft project. And I have compiled about 5 different ways of creating a slip knot so that you can find the best method that works for you. So for this tutorial you will need a crochet hook and a yarn. I'm using a Susan Bates size J10 6mm hook and Bernat Super Value in Lush, which is a medium weight yarn, or a 4. So some terminology you'll need to know is the tail end, which is the very end of the yarn, and the working end, and that is the end of the yarn that's attached to the ball. So when you're making a slip knot, you want to make sure that you leave about a 4 to 6 inch tail. So if the slip knot is about here, you want to leave about a 4 to 6 inch tail so that when you're done your project you can weave in your ends, which we'll do that in another video. So I just want you to keep in mind that we all learn differently and that one method may not work for you, but it may work well for someone else and vice versa. So we'll go ahead and get started. To begin method 1, we're going to drape the yarn over 2 fingers of our left hand with the tail end closest to us and the working end, which is the end that's attached to the ball of yarn, at the back. We're going to bring it around the front and we'll just hold that X right there with our thumb. And then we're going to take the loop that we just made off of our fingers and we'll just lay it across our fingers like that. So now we're going to take the working end, this is where it gets a little tricky, and we're going to place it underneath the loop so that it kind of makes a heart. So now we're going to take our hook and that working yarn that we just placed under the loop, we're going to pick it up with our hook and pull it up just a little bit. Then with our thumb we're going to grab the tail end yarn and the working yarn together and we'll pull up. Then you're going to grab the working yarn and pull it to tighten around your hook. Now you know you've done a correct slip knot if when you pull the working yarn it tightens. If you pull the tail end, it loosens up. So just remember that as a little trick. So we pull the working yarn to tighten, and we pull the tail end to loosen. And we'll just go over that method one more time. So we have the working yarn at the back, and the tail end at the front closest to our tummies. We're going to bring the working yarn around, make an X, pull that loop off of our fingers, bring the working yarn around underneath to make a little heart, and again we are going to grab that working end and tail end with our thumb and we're going to pull up to tighten, and then again we will pull on the working end to tighten up around the hook, and there you have a slip knot. For method number 2, we're going to place the yarn on the table. The working yarn will be on the right side and the tail end yarn will be on the left. And what we're doing is we're going to make a little heart shape. We're going to do it on the table. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this working end and we're going to make the bottom of the heart. Okay. Now we're going to make the top of the heart, and we're going to take this working end and we're going to slip it underneath and make a heart, which is very similar to method 1. So we're going to make a heart, and on the right side of the heart where this working end, we're going to pull up this yarn, and then we're going to grab the tail end and the working yarn and we're going to pull it up. And then we'll pull the working end to tighten. So this is a really good method For people who have trouble doing things in the air and you need something a little bit more step by step to get to a slip knot. So again, we're going to make the right side of a heart, the bottom of a, oops. We'll make the right side of the heart, the bottom of the heart, then we take that working end and we slip it underneath the right side of the heart. We take our hook, put it under that working end, grab the tail end, the working end, and pull up. And again, we'll grab that working end and pull it tight. For method number 3, we're going to make an upside down U shape with the yarn, with the tail end on the right and the working end on the left. And we're going to pinch the yarn about 2 inches down, and we're going to twist that to the left so that the tail end side is on top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to insert our right thumb and forefinger into that loop, and we're going to grab the working yarn and pull it up through the loop, holding on to the tail end and the working yarn like so until it tightens, and there we have our slip knot. So to tighten that, we just insert our hook, pull on the working end, and we know that by pulling on the working end, if it tightens, that it's correct. If we pull on the tail end, it should loosen up. So I'll just do that one again. We're going to make an upside down U with the tail end on the right and the working yarn on the left. We're going to pinch about 2 inches down and twist the yarn so that the tail end is on top. And then we're going to take our thumb and forefinger from our right hand and grab the working yarn from underneath and pull to tighten. And again, we'll just double check that it's correct by pulling the working yarn, and it tightens. So this is a correct slip knot. For method number 4, we're going to hold the tail end in the right hand and the working end in the left. And we're going to cross the tail end of the yarn over the working yarn to form a loop. Then what we're going to do is fold the loop that we just made over the working yarn. Then we're going to grab our hook, and over that working yarn we just folded over, we're going to pick that up and pull. Then we're going to grab the tail end and the working end and pull to tighten. And pull the working end to tighten around the hook. That is a correct slip knot. So we'll do that one again. With the tail end in the right hand and the working yarn in the left, we're going to fold that over. So make sure the tail end side is on top, very similar to the previous method. Now we're going to fold the loop over the working yarn. We're going to pick up our hook, pick up that working yarn that's running through the loop, and pull up. And again, we're going to pull on both the working end and the tail end to tighten. Pull on the working end to tighten around the hook, and there you have it. For method number 5, which is our last method, we are going to drape the yarn over our left index finger with the tail end at the back and the working yarn closest to your tummy. So we're going to grab that tail end and bring it under the finger towards you, and then wrap it around so that now you have 2 loops on your finger. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the loop on the left and hop it over the loop on the right. So we'll hop that over, and make sure you're still holding the working end and the tail end where it's crossing over here. Make sure you're holding that with your thumb. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the one that's now on the left, and we're going to hop it over the one on the right, but we're going to hop it right off of our finger. So we'll lift that up and lift it right over our finger. And now we're going to take our hook, insert it into the loop that's on our finger, and we just pull to tighten. And there you have method 5. So I will do that again. We have the tail end draped over towards the back, and we're going to bring it towards our tummy and then around to the back again. And we're going to grab the working yarn and the tail end yarn with our thumb and middle finger to hold that in place. Then we're going to hop the left loop over the right loop, and then the new left loop over that right loop and off of our finger. And again, we'll just insert our hook, pull on the working yarn to tighten. And again, we'll just test if we pull on the tail end and it loosens up, and the working yarn tightens it up, that is a correct slip knot. This completes our tutorial. If this video helped you, give it a like and subscribe, and be sure to follow me on Facebook at Hooks to Hooks Crochet Group, on Twitter at Hooks2Hooks2, and on Instagram at Hooks to Hooks.